Everyone, welcome to the AAEB5 tutorial series. My name is Julia Park. Today we're going to talk about how to set up USCIS alerts in the USCIS system and also how to check current processing times. In order to check USCIS alerts, you have to go to the USCIS website. Here you can go to check your case status. And if you have a receipt number, you can put your receipt number in here and check the status. For example, let us look at a sample receipt notice. This is a sample receipt notice for an I-526 filing. You might sometimes hear the term a I-797. An I-797 is a number given to any type of notice sent out by the USCIS. So if you receive a receipt notice, that is by default an I-797, and this is for a case type of I-526, which is the immigration petition for EB-5 petitioners. You'll notice a C up here. This means that it's a copy, and it's the copy sent to the attorney usually. But other than the C, for all intents and purposes, it's the same as the original. Here you will see the receipt number that starts with WAC. These first three letters indicate which service center received and processed these petitions. WAC stands for the California Service Center, and because all I-526s are sent to the California Service Centers, EB-5 petitions always start with a WAC receipt number. So you have the receipt number here. The priority date is under the receipt number. We will have a separate tutorial on the meaning of priority date, especially for people from China or people born in China, because there's a per country quota for people born in China. So this is the receipt notice that you will receive, and let's go back to the case status online. And once you put in a number, I put in an SRC number that I had checked before. This is actually my own green card application, and in 2010 they approved the adjustment of status, and so you can periodically go in, put in your receipt number, and check the status. However, if you want the USCIS to proactively send you alerts, you can do that by signing up online. So you click sign up, you accept the terms, and then you register the account type, and you would be the petitioner if you were the I-526 immigrant. Representative is usually for attorneys. Click next, and you put in the user type. For here, it doesn't really matter. You could put in petitioner filing for self. Anything that's optional, you don't need to put in, but let's just go through this process. Although it's optional, I recommend that you do put in your mobile phone number, because there is an option for you to set up a mobile phone alert, a text alert on the system. So after you've put all of this in, you put in your password and you create an account, and then you log in. I'm going to skip those steps because once you go through the system, there really isn't anything that's too complicated in terms of setting up the account. After you set up the account and you log in, you will get to this site. And here it says My Cases. And here you would put in your receipt number and add a case. So for purposes of the tutorial, I've already done that with an existing case, and I had to redact out the information. So here, after you add the receipt number and add the case, you will see your case here on the bottom. And you can see here you can set up email alerts, and you can also set up mobile alerts. And when you click on the receipt number, you will be able to see the last action taken on this particular case. So if we click on this link here, it would take us to this site. And here it says that this case was approved as well. Logging in and setting up your alert system, the benefit is that, like I said earlier, you can proactively get emails or text notices. But also a benefit is that you can actually see your case history as it's recorded in the USCIS website. So here you can see that this is when they received the petition. There was an RFE, or a request for evidence, sent out. There was a receipt of the RFE response, and then the last action taken was that the case was approved. So by signing up online, you can see the case history and get alerts. However, I really have to caution you that the USCIS system is very fickle. So it is not uncommon for us to have approved cases and get an approval notice in the mail without having received any sort of text or email notification. It's also not uncommon for people to have finished their case and then later get weird text messages about cases that have already been closed. So just want you to keep in mind that this is something that's nice to have, but you can't always completely rely on it. Now, next, I'm going to talk about how to check current processing times. So again, you go to any browser. This time I'm going to go to Chrome, USCIS. You can go through that homepage, or you can just go click on case status. And again, it will bring you to the same page. Here you would put in account login if you already have an account that's set up and you can access your case information. Now you scroll down and you will put in USCIS processing times information, and it provides you a link to the processing time information. There's a lot of information here, but for purposes of EB5, this is the website that you want to be linking to. So I mentioned earlier that all EB5 petitions are processed in California through the California Service Center. However, just the processing is done in California, and the receipt processing is done in California, but the actual review of the petitions are now all done in Washington, D.C. in what's called the IPO office, which is short for Immigrant Investor Program Office. So if you click here, you will be able to see the current processing times for EB5 related petitions. So this is the last update date of July 12th. Today is July 15th. Sometimes they don't update this for a couple of months or even longer. Here you can see that for the Form I-526, they're processing cases dated as of, and this would be the priority date that I showed you earlier, October 18, 2015. So there's quite a bit of a backlog here. Then for the I-829s, which is the petition that you submit to remove your condition, you can see that they're backlogged even longer. The third type of EB5 related petition is the I-924, and this is the petition, this is an application. This is the application that the regional center uses to file for exemplars or changes to the regional center status, ownership. Any type of regional center related updates are sent to the USCIS through an I-924. And as you can see, again, there is quite a bit of a backlog. So people are always asking, how long is my petition going to check? And immigration attorneys really don't have anything more than this website to look at when they're giving you an answer. And again, similar to the case status online system, this is a nice to have, but really not something that you can completely rely on. For example, it says here they're processing cases as of October 18, 2015. But some of you may know that there was an incredible number of I-526 petitions filed on or before September 30, 2015, because that was one of the first times that people thought, the industry thought, that the minimum investment amount would increase after September 30th. So a lot of petitions were filed, and we know for a fact that there are still many petitions filed on or before September 30th that they have not responded to. Still, this is a gauge to know that, well, they're kind of past that now, and they are also looking at October 2015 filings. So it's a good rule of thumb, but it doesn't give you a completely accurate picture. Also, the processing cases as of date was stuck on September 29, 2015 for, I don't know, like 5 months. So you can't calculate, reverse calculate and say, okay, between October 2015 and my date, which was April 2016, there's like 6 months, so I will hear from 6 months from now. That's not really accurate. It's a rule of thumb. You can kind of get an idea. For example, if you filed in October 2016, this website tells you you're not going to hear back for quite a while. So it's helpful to have, but again, not set in stone. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you again in our next video. Thank you very much.